Welcome to the Buy Box Bandits podcast.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Buy Box Bandits podcast. Today, we have a very organized episode, which is rare, right? We're going to walk through the top 10 worst mistakes to avoid as a beginner Amazon seller. And we got the man, Chris Grant, here. Nobody better to help us do it. I don't think really anyone on planet Earth, or at least not many, have more context around what it takes to be a successful arbitrage seller than the three of us here on this pod here. So we're going to go through line by line, a bunch of different mistakes you guys want to make sure you avoid, and hopefully save you guys a bunch of time and just speed up your success process and such, and everything. So
just
Chris,
for context for the audience, we have an agenda actually.
Yes.
And I have it up right here. Miles sent
hey,
an
your boy wrote
agenda
it up. Yeah, your boy wrote it
to
up.
Chris and I this morning actually, which is wildly impressive.
Yep.
And so we're just going to kind of work through this list of 10 items here. And I think, Chris, you have the agenda up as well.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I got it.
We got
miraculously professional and organized today. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how long we can stay on track.
Boom. Okay, so just prior to hopping into it, Chris, you want to give a little background for anyone who might not be familiar with you yet?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I've been around the Amazon space for a long time, over 10 years now. I've done retail arbitrage, I've dabbled in private label. I've done online arbitrage for years and years. And now, I share everything I know on social media, just like you guys. And now I'm ready to crush this.
Cool. Sweet. Okay. So we got a list of 10 for you guys, and this is stuff you want to avoid doing. If you do not want to be successful selling on Amazon, make sure you do all these things. And if you do want to be successful, make sure you avoid all these things and such. So the first big mistake I see people make is just managing cash flow the wrong way, right? So especially as a beginner, worrying about like what's scalable or optimizing for saving time and FBAing everything and such, right? And the way I see it, right, the most applicable thing you can do as a beginner to manage cash flow is going to be avoiding leverage, right? And merchant fulfilling and focusing on really fast selling listings. So setting criteria and then sticking to it around what types of products you want to source. But how do you fellas think about managing cash flow and the mistakes people make with it?
I've definitely seen too many people go with leverage too quickly before they know what they're doing. Leverage can be the absolute best thing in the world, but it goes the other direction too. You have 29% interest you're paying on a credit card and you can't pay it off every single month. You're going to hurt yourself really badly. FBM is, it's a cheat code. If you can merchant fulfill something that you buy in store today and you get paid for it, my account, I get to cheat. I get paid as soon as I print a shipping label. So for me, that money can compound in a time like Q4, like nothing else that I know of. For everyone else, you might have to wait 7 days. That's so much faster than sending it into FBA, waiting for it to check in, etc. You find some fast selling listings, even if the ROI and the margins aren't incredible. Imagine taking a 10% margin, but turning it over 15 or 20 times in a single month. You're going to grow that cash much, much faster.
Yeah, I think, we can lump the whole data awareness kind of with that cash flow, right? Because it comes from two different perspectives. One, really understanding what you're actually making for every unit you sell. That's all inclusive, right? So we're not forgetting about sales tax. We're not forgetting about that shipping label. It's all encompassing of the actual money you make per unit, right? Because shockingly enough, there's probably a lot of newer sellers who are selling a bunch of stuff thinking they make a whole lot of money. And then come the end of the year, their bookkeeper at the end of the month or their tax professional at the end of the year says, oh, you didn't make that much, right? So I think that's kind of like one of the foundational aspects of like really being in tune with what's going on with every single unit and how much you're making, right? A seller board helps out with that. Inventory lab. What other kind of like mechanism you use to track each unit sold? I think that's important. And then kind of corresponding to that, right? You guys already kind of touched on it. The worst case scenario for a newer seller is to have their business worth $1,000 and 750 is wrapped up in a product that's not selling, right? So it's really doubling down, tripling down on velocity over profitability, right? And Chris, you articulate it pretty well, right? I would much rather you take a lower profit margin with the guarantee, with the assurance that it's going to sell quick, right? Because what you gain is the validation experience, right? Reps at the plate, more singles, more bunts, turn into doubles, triples, home runs, right? And then that 5%, 5%, 10%, whatever it is, compounding over the course of months, you're going to outpace a 20% margin product that doesn't sell nearly as much. It's just a fact. Right? That's just how money is made. And so it's doubling down on velocity more than anything else, more than profitability, as well as just really, really, really understanding the dollars and cents of your product, of your business.
Yeah. There's a quote that I wanted to get in there and I totally forgot, but Charlie Munger says, there's nothing more dangerous than ladies, liquors, and leverage. And I think we need to take that to heart when we're starting an Amazon business.
And avoiding FBM. There's no L in there for sure, but there's a lot of L's in avoiding FBM as well, right? So I think the big points in there is, right, credit cards and stuff, it's great if you know what you're doing, and it's terrible if you don't know what you're doing, right? Best credit cards, in my opinion, for Amazon sellers are going to be the Amex Blue Business is going to be the best beginner option, typically 0% APR. The Amex Plum card, like the fruit, the plum, that's a 60-day payback period. So that's really nice if you can combine it with FBM, retail arbitrage. And then also the Capital One Spark card is great for big limits, and it has 2% cash back on anything. Now, merchant fulfilled as well. How do you identify if a listing can be merchant fulfilled? You look if other people are merchant fulfilling it, and you test it out, ideally with the 0-day handling time setting in there, and you get your feet on you. It's going to be more so, a Q4 thing. But I was running a Kiva Product Finder search the other day. It's like half of Nike listings under 100,000 are still FBM buy boxing and such, which is pretty cool. And such too. And speaking of that, speaking of Nike listings, right? Everyone who I see win quick, as we get into our second point, for the most part, the way they're seeing their massive results, it's not a billion different test orders, right? They're not worried about diversifying inventory too soon. They are hammering 5, 10, or 20 ASINs at certain seasonal opportunities or certain big sales. And that's where they're getting the majority of the results.
What's that principle called? Like
80-20.
Pareto?
Yep, Pareto's
Pareto
principle.
Something like that, yeah.
Right? 80% of your
Applies
ASINs.
to everything in life. Everything.
Yeah, right. So Chris, you want to describe that principle and how it relates to selling on Amazon?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Pareto principle, whatever it is, I don't know the guy's name. It was some mathematician from like the 1700s.
Yeah.
But everything has an 80-20, literally everything. 80% of your output is probably going to be from 20% of your input. 80% of your profits are going to come from 20% of your ASINs, and so on. And if you can figure out what that 20% is as quickly as you can double, triple, quadruple down on it and grow a whole lot faster. So when we were doing retail arbitrage, we did this like on the fly. We would go out to TJ Maxx, Ross, Marshalls. We would find 20 different products, and one of them would be the absolute killer. And then we would forget about everything else. And instead, we would focus on how many Rosses, TJ Maxx, and Marshalls can we go to in a day and buy that one product so we can sell through it as quickly as we possibly can. I guarantee that made us more money than trying to cast such a wide net.
Yep.
It makes a lot of sense. Like conceptually, what's how much time savings will you experience by just hitting 5 to cart, 10 to cart, add to cart, buy, rather than having to reverse engineer the wheel, having to find that new product, right? It's always going to be more efficient to just order more. It's kind of like the thesis of wholesale in a sense, right? Just order more as opposed to always trying to find a new SKU. Also, Amazon, and this kind of goes without being said, right? Amazon rewards longevity and stability on listings, right? You get more buy box over time of just being in stock on a product. And so it's continuing to double down on what works and using that to continue to fuel your sourcing, right? This is something I talk about a bunch, and just kind of like trying to find the profitability and the adjacencies of things that are already working, digging deeper into the brands, digging deeper into products, maybe other variations, other sizes, right? It's all the same principle of acknowledging what's working, restocking as much as possible, squeezing everything you can out of what's working, and then using what's working to kind of fuel the next best thing, the next great thing.
Yeah, and there's big lessons in here, boys, right? Because you hear a lot of people who haven't figured it out say, I want to get into XYZ category, or I need to get more different ASINs listed. But there's just major lessons that you never hear one of the 19-year-olds that scaled to the moon fucking quick. You never hear him saying that, right? So there's lessons in there, right? That if you haven't found that initial point of momentum, that real aha moment, right? Which for Garrett and I was like Air Force Ones and Floby bolos back in the day. It was like,
Flobies,
holy
yeah.
crap, I can sell 10 of these a day
Flobies.
by myself, right? Yeah, it's like crazy stuff. Like you need to hunt for that by testing a lot, but then when you have something that works in reason, that's when you start to increase your purchase quantities. And the problem, and we'll get into this, right, in terms of like prep centers and really worrying about delegating and such so soon, is that you miss out on that speed, like Chris was saying, of going into the retail store, picking it up today, listening to FBM today. You might save 4 weeks compared to an OA purchasing. And that learning time, not just the money compounding, makes a big difference as well. Another big mistake we see people make is quitting your job too soon, or even just
What's number 3, folks?
necessarily
Everyone following at home.
yeah, right. Trying to quit your job too soon, right? I think it makes a hell of a lot more sense, right? To if you're doing it part-time, which pretty much everyone is from the get-go, right? Is to just build it up as much as you can and understand that the sacrifices you're making now, your future self is going to be so thankful for you, those long nights and stuff, but you can't do it too soon. You want to have a nice cushion. You want to be nice and comfortable. You want to have fun selling on Amazon prior to quitting your job. And especially I think some young people do that too early. So how do you fellas think about that?
I think being able to grow a business with the comfort of knowing that all your bills are paid from your regular job and being able to set aside a bunch of money, not having to take any money out to pay your bills or feed your kids or pay rent. There's nothing like it. If you can grow a business like on Amazon, the cool thing is you can use FBA. And if you can't FBM, if you can't do that kind of stuff, you can use FBA. You can grow a business to 7 figures easily before you ever even think about quitting your job.
And people have done it, man. Yeah, but people have been on this podcast, man, for sure.
Absolutely. It doesn't make sense to quit something that you're probably not going to lose in the next 6 months or a year for something that you really need to grow with as much capital as it takes to build an Amazon business.
And keeping going with that too, right? There's also the angle of, okay, I hate my job. It makes good money, but having the Amazon money coming in too, that gives me the flexibility to maybe work less hours on something I like or work a different job that I like doing more, right? Like you want to formulate, your goals with the stuff, figuring out what you want, not just what everyone online wants or whatever.
Or if you just want to tell your boss not to talk to you like that anymore, you got that flexibility,
man. Yeah, right. Literally, you're on the exact same wavelength there.
There is sort of like a catch-22 because I feel like the masculine urge in all of us, the competitive nature in all of us wants that back up against the wall to be like, all right, it's this or nothing. I'm going to make this work. And this is something that our buddy Parker was talking about on Twitter a lot, right? It's putting yourself in that corner because you have no other choice, right? The competitor in us knows how we're going to react in that sort of scenario. And so there's definitely respect for people who do that. However, everyone's risk tolerance is different, right? Everyone's in different scenarios. There is something to be said, and I've had these conversations kind of offline privately with a lot of other people in the space to be able to use that 9 to 5 to maybe get that first mortgage 5 years earlier than you would have, or 2 years earlier, right? Because there's naturally a lot of those conversations are a lot easier to have with banks and lenders when you have that W-2 in your back pocket. But that's neither here nor there. We're not obviously here to advise you.
Oh yeah, do what you want.
Life
Yeah,
decisions,
yeah. We just obviously have a lot of context. Sorry to interrupt, G-Body. We just have a lot of context around people in the space and as such. Like obviously the whole thing here, it's what we've noticed from other people, right? Typically that's worked or hasn't worked in the case of a lot of these mistakes and such. Okay, this is a hot topic here. We should low-key get my boy Russo on for this, specifically right here. But bang, okay, delegating too soon. Massive mistake I see a lot of people make, right? Thinking virtual assistants are going to solve their problems, thinking prep center is going to solve their problems. Meanwhile, they're getting lapped by the 19-year-old in his mom's basement, fulfilling the FBM order same day, right? So I think this is like, it's part of the problem is like new sellers see a mature business and think that mature business became a mature business by delegating, when that's the complete opposite in the most cases, right? That person grew a big business because they put in a ton of time merchant fulfilling or a ton of time doing retail arbitrage, and that massive action compounded them to get them to the mature business a lot quicker. But that isn't what necessarily got. It's like the morning routine thing, like how people get rich and then create these complicated routines, and beginners think the routine's what makes them rich. Not the case. Doing the work's what makes you rich. So don't worry about delegating too soon.
I think so. Miles, you and I have some differing opinions on this, but I think the one thing we do agree on is sourcing should be outsourced last. Sourcing
Mhm.
should be the last thing you delegate. Why? Because it's the highest ROI, highest value activity in the business. That's the lever. You buy more, you make more, right? You spend more, you make more. You source more, you make more, right? And so that's the last thing that you should be removing yourself from the business, right? In my mind, it should either be FBM goes to your house or FBI goes to your prep center. The lowest, in my opinion, the lowest valued activity is prepping FBA boxes, right? That's not the conversation of FBM or FBA. If we're talking FBA, that's the focus. That should be the first thing that's outsourced, right? The labeling and sending out FBA shipments is the lowest ROI activity. Also, combined with the fact that a lot of you are paying sales tax, right? So it's either FBM or have someone else do those stickering, do the FBA while benefiting from the no sales tax. What do you think about that, Chris?
I completely agree.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah, I'm in lockstep. We all know guys who spend an hour or two a week and they've got, an 8-figure Amazon business. The thing is that took so much time and
Years.
effort
And you don't
to
see that.
build.
Yeah.
It's not something you can do overnight. And one of the things I hear quite often is, oh, you know what? I'm not really great at sourcing. I want to go out and
Let me get a
find
VA
a
to do
VA who will help me. Nope. You got to be able to teach them your way. You need to be able to teach it in your sleep before you ever outsource that to someone else, because they're not going to do it as good as you. The incentives are not aligned properly to grow your business because it's not their business. So yeah, that has to be done last. Prep center, I'm okay with it being a little bit faster if it's FBA, but that's also because I'm lazy and I don't think that there's not a lot of value in putting a sticker on a box.
Right. You don't have
Personally.
like with FBM, there's something to be said about the extra added flexibility and the speed, of course, right? But
Mhm.
FBM, like stickering boxes, sending them out while paying sales tax, it doesn't make sense, especially with a lot of these people listening to us that have kids and have 9-to-5 jobs and maybe have other obligations outside of Amazon, right? So we want to make sure every hour in our business is valued properly, right? So that's either have the flexibility and the ease of FBM, or sitting there behind your computer sourcing and buying products. Those are the two levers.
Yeah. So if you guys want a good list of prep centers, y'all go on google.com, type in clear the shelf prep center. The man's got a great list for you guys on his blog right there. So definitely check that out. Such. Okay. The fifth one, this is probably the most prominent one that is what really I would say leads to failure. It's like, okay, I can't find any products. Online arbitrage, it's hard, it's saturated, it's whatever, right? Thinking there's some magic bullet to it, right? When really what it all comes down to is if you can figure out how to look at the advertised price on a website and make that advertised price significantly cheaper, stuff's going to end up being good, right? Coupon codes, discount codes, and you're the perfect person to have on to talk about this, Chris. So let's go through some of these different online arbitrage discounting methods, because that's really the whole name of the game with the actual business model, I would say.
I mean, the two lowest hanging fruit is going to be discount gift cards. There's a little bit of a trap with discount gift cards. You got to make sure that you're spending all of them. You don't want a bunch of discount gift cards with $5 left on them. And then coupon codes. There are coupon codes everywhere. You posted about ChatGPT not too long ago. ChatGPT will
Miles
look
is
them
on a
up for you.
big ChatGPT.
Oh, I'm a big
right
AI guy. Oh yeah, I'm a big AI guy now. Yeah,
I love AI. So we use ChatGPT. We use Perplexity.ai. Both of those are great places to go and look for them. I mean, you all know Capital One Shopping.
Yep.
We know Retail Me Not. We know Dan's Deals. There are coupon codes literally everywhere to go out and find. And most websites have them. Plus, you guys talk about reaching out to customer service. Nobody does that. Nobody wants to reach out to Karen at customer service and ask if there's a discount code. And it's super easy to do, especially if there's chat on a website.
Okay. All right. Well, the game just changed even further with your point there, Chris. I just asked ChatGPT, what coupons does Rack Room Shoes have? And the answer, I mean, it's insane, like that it actually does work. It told me they got a buy one, get one 50%, which is the case. And then it also told me they have a $1 off coupon, which is the most professionally way I've ever heard any of this shit worded, by the way. We're being honest. Pro tip for the podcast listeners, those coupons actually stack, right? And then they got a good rewards program too. So on top of that, right? So coupon codes, which are going to be Typically evergreen ones via email account or text sign up. Those will just pop up on the screen, typically on the website, or just click around a little bit. The extensions, like Chris mentioned, Capital One Shopping, Coupon Birds, Honey, Be Frugal, Rakuten. You want to make sure you have all those downloaded. They're all free, right? Asking customer service is huge, because so few people do that stuff. Then definitely rewards programs as well is huge. Tax exempt certificates going to be helpful for retail arbitrage. You're going to need it for wholesale. It's going to occasionally be applicable for all-in arbitrage as well and such. So if you guys start to implement that, right, all of us have a lot of sourcing content on our YouTubes you can check out as well. Chris, you have another good point with that?
Yeah, there's something not a lot of people do is if you are sourcing like a particular niche, let's say shoes or maybe outdoor gear, go follow some influencers in the space, and you'll be surprised how many of them have coupon codes in their bios and that they give out, and maybe they get a little kickback from it, but you get a discount and it's worth it.
Yeah, keep the money in the family, man. Yeah, we need this bread. Yeah, we need this bread, man. Cool. Okay. So along with number 5, number 6 is wildly important. You guys hear me say it all the time. No one acts on it. So that's why I'm going to keep saying it right
Chris
there.
and I are just gonna sit back and let Miles rant out
Yes.
for the next
Okay.
10
So
minutes.
you need to be going to war with other troops. You can't be going at this solo, right? Because otherwise you have to make all the mistakes on your own. The only people in your life talking to you about it are probably your IRL friends who don't think it works, right? This is a team sport and you need to treat it as such. You need to find like-minded kings and queens on Discord, Facebook groups, Twitter, Instagram, wherever. There are people out there that desperately want to get rich with people like you, but the chances of you finding those people in your hometown is very, very small, right? So networking and working with other sellers is an incredibly important thing. And it's also a very uncomfortable thing too. But your life just gets so much easier. Like I did this for a year and a half, mostly on my own. And then Garrett showed me a couple things in a 45-minute Zoom call. And then we both made like 20K off it, profit the next like 3 months. And like my life was never the same, right? So that's incredibly important. People have heard me say that 1,000 times. How do you actually do it though? What does that actually look like, Chris? Where are the starting points there?
First of all, you have to do it scared. You know, you're going to be worried that people are going to make fun of you, that they're going to laugh at you, that, all that stuff. You just have to get over it. And you have to do it. It's going to be like talking to a wall, or people are going to ignore you. They're not going to care. But keep at it, because if you're authentic, if you're self over time, your people will find you. And being able to multiply your knowledge by being able to talk with other people. I mean, you guys have you guys have been selling on Amazon, 3-4 years now?
Yeah, successfully for 3, unsuccessfully for about 5. Yeah, total.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys have 10 years of experience between the two of you. If you're by yourself, you've got 5 years of experience and only 3 years of being really good at it.
Yeah, 1 week in many people's case, man. Like if we're talking about the micro examples, it's like 1 week, right? And I mean, if we're being honest, if you're authentic, I'm retweeting you day 1. If you tag me, I'm like, not even a question. I'm retweeting you day 1. Didn't even interrupt you that.
Who's that? Gavin on Twitter today shared that really great story, shared a perfect story. I think we've all retweeted it. He might have 500 followers. I don't know how long he's been on Twitter. Today was the first day I saw him.
Yeah.
Instant retweet, because he's authentic. He told a great story. It was the perfect way to really put himself out there. And I mean, I'm going to interview him because the story is fantastic. I guarantee he'll make it no matter what business he's going to go into. And he's definitely going to make it in the Amazon space.
Yeah, I have a good point here too. So interestingly enough, Gavin, actually, I think it's Gavin FBA. You guys should all go follow him. We should have him on here too. But
he plays college baseball too.
Currently does. He went yard in his first at bat too. Actually,
winners win. Winners win.
Yeah, it translates, bro. That translates. So Gavin's older brother and I, we used to run shoes back in the day, actually. So I was talking to bro in like 2019 in the shoe community, and then it was like literally instantly like Gavin was like, yo, my brother Cole from back in the day? And then we had Cole at 10K a month profit in like 45 days. Like I'm no bullshit. Like literally no bullshit with that. So yeah, that's really, really a good idea. And you just got to start. You'll figure it out as you go, right? It's just like walking. You just got to start doing it. You'll figure out the nuances and intricacies as you go. No one cares. No one's worried about you. That is not a bad thing. That should be freeing. As you build yourself into someone people want to know, you ought to let them know you exist, because that's the only way any opportunity is going to find you. Okay, Sweet. So this one's a quick one, but definitely can't be understated. This is actually, I'd say, a mistake I made. Circumstantially, I wasn't able to do a ton of retail arbitrage when I was just getting started during the pandemic, but avoiding the easy retail arbitrage money sitting right there waiting for you in the Nike out that's
Again,
12 miles away while you're
something that
clocking
makes
in your
people
job
uncomfortable.
makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense, right? So retail arbitrage is very underrated in 2024, right? Get out there, scan the whole damn store, talk to the employees. You'll learn the new stuff. You'll learn the markdowns, and you can get that inventory in hand same day and list it FBM same day. That's powerful, man. That's
But you have to go to the counter with a whole cart full of stuff that people
no.
don't know.
Oh my
And you
gosh.
have to,
What if they ask why I have so many? What do I
and
do?
people are gonna see you scanning stuff.
Imagine
and that
telling
may
your
be
grandpa.
weird.
Imagine telling your grandpa, I'm nervous to go into the stores and scan the products to make money. I would rather go clock in for 40 years. Make that make sense.
There is a way to build a 7-figure RA store. It's have business cards, have your route. Every single store you go in, ask to see the manager. Hey, my name's Garrett. This is what I do. I just wanted to introduce myself, and this is the sort of stuff I'm buying. If there's ever a scenario where you maybe have a surplus of something, or maybe something's not selling, or maybe you are getting a bunch of stuff in and you think it maybe not fit on the shelves, give me a call, give me a text. I'll come check it out. I'll see if I can help you out. Have that conversation with every single manager of all the stores that you go in. Introduce yourself to the employees. Hey, my name is Garrett. You'll probably be seeing me a lot in these stores next couple of months. Those sorts of conversations will resonate, right? Bring an Amazon gift card, bring some whatever, some snacks, some food, some donuts, whatever the case may be. Create a face, right? Because you want to be recognized as the go-to person to buy the stuff that they don't want, maybe. Or what you really want is to be able to have that firsthand access to the trucks that come in, those sorts of things. Tons and tons and tons of opportunity for that sort of thing.
Yeah, like I've seen tons of people make, like, local retailers get great opportunities where they can independently order wholesale for you, get the pallets in there.
There's
Crazy.
so much.
Yeah, and
But
didn't
you
you
have to
say?
own the RA thing. You can't be embarrassed. You can't
Oh
be
yeah.
like, oh
Oh
yeah,
no,
I'm doing
this whole thing does
You
not
have
work
to
if you
own
don't
it.
own it.
Yeah.
If you don't own the whole, like,
Yep.
on socials, whatever. Aren't you having like an 8-figure RA seller on your pod, Chris? I saw that
I
tweet
am.
the other day.
Yeah,
It's crazy, man.
we booked an 8-figure RA seller. They're 99% retail arbitrage. They've got shoppers. They've had shoppers all across the country, not just in their own area. And they run a great business. They run a big business. They're not the largest retail arbitrager I know of. I know of a $75 million a year retail arbitrager. I can't get them on the podcast.
Which makes sense. They're busy, man. They're buying
they're
shit. They're
busy.
scanning stuff. Yeah.
It's awesome to see retail arbitrage have a renaissance. Retail arbitrage is what everyone started with when I got into the business, because I mean, shipping was like 3 weeks, from Target. It was crazy. But retail arbitrage is also the place where you're going to have the highest ROI on seed oils in the form of coffee and donuts. All right.
Unfortunately, but there's the devil might need to get you some bread and such. I respect.
That's right. But I've gotten into the back rooms of Walgreens. I've gotten phone calls and text messages when 50% off clearance electronics is going on sale. I have ordered pallets from Walmart. People probably have no idea you can order pallets of product from Walmart. They will absolutely do it for you. There is so many ways to win at retail arbitrage. You can do quick flips. You can do buy and holds. You can get your product cheaper than anybody else, even if it's a nationwide discount. Make their lives easy, scratch their back so that they'll scratch yours. Be kind to everyone that works there. Make the cashier's jobs easy by lining everything up really nice. Make them laugh, and you're going to be the best part of their day.
Even like, I think not enough people have experienced the high of buying something in the store and selling it the same day.
Dude, buy it in the store and sell it before you check out.
I know a lot of delegators who have. I know a lot of rich people who have. There's lessons in there. There's lessons in it.
If more people have just experienced that small win, I think a lot more people would be kind of going out eagerly and owning retail arbitrage, because there's just so much value in the speed, the efficiency, and you just gain so much time.
Yeah. So number 8 here. So we pretty much already touched.
Do we have a celeb? Do we have a celeb appearance, Chris?
We do have a celebrity appearance here. My wife just walked in for a second.
She made her debut at the
Yeah,
Miami
that's,
conference.
she did. Yeah,
Oh,
she
she
did.
did.
All right.
And she's out.
I feel it. I feel it right there. So we kind of already touched on number 8, which was the importance of reinvesting profits, right? Just compounding relationships, capital, network, opportunities, etc. Right. The longer you can stay in the game, the better. That gets into number 9, which is just expecting quick results, right? Very, very few people figure this out in a couple weeks or a couple months, but most people that stick with it enough, that avoid what we just went over, right? That are avid listeners of the pod, avid listeners of Chris stuff, right? They're they're following the gospel and such, right? Most people figure it out over the long term. This is a 6 to 12 month minimum commitment if you're going to get into it. If you're going to get into any business, it should probably honestly be even longer than that, right? It's probably not going to work quick. It is very likely to work over the long term, right? So you need to commit to this with a nice long-term mindset, and that's what's actually going to get you results over long term if you stick around long enough to give yourself a chance to get lucky.
Imagine thinking that 6 to 12 months is a long time horizon when most like unicorns in the tech space or anything like that, they're thinking 10, 12 years before they actually get to have a paycheck. The founder gets a paycheck, and we're talking 6, 12 months. I mean, this is a game that you can make money quicker than just about any other kind of business that's out there. And it's those people who are like, oh, well, you know what, I'm 3 months in and this didn't work. And, the MLM I joined didn't work. And the affiliate program I joined didn't work. And those are the people who aren't going to make it in this or anything else, unfortunately.
And it's
I mean,
not the business, it's the person. And that's a good thing because that gives you the power. The business model is not the issue. It's not for me crew. First of all, why does it have to be for you? Why does it have to be for you? That's another conversation. But yeah, it's you are the solution and the problem. It's not the business model.
And again, I mean, someone who went to college for 4 years, the counter is spending 4 years and more expensively, I guess less expensively, $50,000, $60,000, $30,000 on a college education, when you can just commit 6, 12 months, head down, grind with patience, knowing
with the boys, man, with the boys.
knowing that over the long term, right? Because you see so many different things happen. You get to see the Q4 rush time and time again, right? You get to see the summer sales on like the baseball stuff. You get to see all the different life cycles that these products have, and the value is you get to compound and take advantage quicker, earlier, and deeper in years, right? Maybe that first year you didn't go head over heels over the back to school backpack crave. Second year, maybe you did a little bit more, but the third year, you've seen it twice now, right? You've seen it twice. All the sales, all the things happen twice. Well, now that third year, maybe that's what it takes to really go head over heels, dig or go all in on the backpacks. Whatever that is for you, it's just seeing all the different cycles, all the different seasonal opportunities, all the different ups and downs of this business over the course of a year, because you can just take advantage of them with so much more confidence and competence in years in advance.
Yep, you just got to stick around to give yourself a chance to, which is the real important part as well. And then number 10 is definitely going to be trying to shortcut your way to success, right? Buying leads list or doing fraud labels, skirting Amazon's rules and trying to avoid certain fees or undercutting FBM shipping costs, right? Like we were just talking about with point number 9, right? You're not going to be able to skirt the rules long term or do fraud labels long term. Like if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Your goal is to build a sustainable source of income that does not rely on defrauding the U.S. government or hopefully defrauding anyone as well. But don't try to shortcut the rules, guys. It's not worth it. Not even close.
Yeah, I mean, I think just a huge emphasis needs to be placed on account health, right? Your account's more valuable than the $150, the $200 that you're going to make on a product, right? And so it's identifying and understanding what causes IP complaints, knowing that really good looking profitability market that's only has 1 or 2 sellers, or the brands on it that you think you can kind of sneak in, make a couple sales and sneak out. It's just not worth it. Right. I know a lot of us joke about like, oh, having seen the your account is at risk of deactivation on the top of your app.
See, now that's
right?
different though. If you're chat scaling the FBM, you
No,
like
but
low key probably should be getting that.
that
Like,
same mindset, I think a lot of people start to then
speaking.
adapt and kind of consume with other aspects, right? So it's just like really valuing the opportunity that your seller app provides, taking advantage of it, be grateful for the platform, for the market, and just continuing to dig deep into it.
Boom. Sweet. Yeah, I thought we did it. All right. So y'all let us know if you like the organized format here. I think it was good. Definitely I thought we did well with that and such.
I'm
but
surprised we
yeah.
finished.
Yeah.
We went through the first one. I texted these guys. I was like, dude, no chance.
Oh, we did
finish
get,
in a
yeah,
half an
yeah,
hour.
yeah. But yeah, either way, guys, let us know if you guys like this format, because we can do like the 10 best things, or I even think there's like even more opportunity for like how to prepare for back to school and such. We'll do some good episodes on that stuff as well. And Chris, where can everyone find you who wants to follow up with some of the further stuff you got going on?
I am at Clear the Shelf everywhere on the internet.
Cool. All right, so y'all check out the boy right there.
That's it.
Appreciate everyone listening this deep as well. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for rocking with us. Get to work, avoid this stuff, and hopefully we can help you get rich.